You're really helpful. Hello, everybody. This is E-Café-Interview. I'm Ichiro Machino, the founder of e-communicator.com. Today we have Lucia Maggio as a guest, and she's from Canada. Hello, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It's really nice to have you. First, could you tell us about yourself briefly?
Well, as you said, I'm from Canada, and I was born in the the province of Quebec. And when I was 14, I moved to Vancouver, which is the other side of Canada. And then I came to Japan about a year ago.
Okay. So I think Quebec is actually where people speak French.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. So
you are with a quite multinational, multicultural background. Yes.
yeah. So actually, my dad's Italian.
Your father is Italian.
Yeah. So my dad straight from Italy, and then my mom's Canadian. And I was born in Quebec, where they do speak, everybody speaks French. Not everybody speaks English.
Okay.
And you're basically required by law. If your parents don't speak French, you have to go to French school. They might have changed it.
Really?
Yeah, but they really push people to learn French.
Okay.
So me and my brother went to French school. And so I did my elementary school and my high school and my middle school all in French.
Wow. So, what it's like? You in your family. How many languages are spoken?
Well, a lot. So I don't know all of them.
Italian, French. So not English actually. No.
Well, my mom speaks English to me.
Okay.
My stepmom, I have a stepmom. She's from Lebanon.
Oh, okay.
So she speaks Arabic, and so she speaks.
Wow.
Like, I don't speak Arabic. I only know a little here and there. But she speaks Arabic or French. She speaks French to me. But we mostly speak English as a whole family. Like when we're
Why? Is it your common language?
Yeah, it's a common
Really?
language. Actually, my dad never spoke a lot of Italian to me. Only my family in Italy spoke Italian to me. Because my dad didn't. I think he didn't like Italy that much.
Your father?
For personal reasons, yeah.
Really? So that's part of the reason why. What he did? He does. I mean, no. I mean,
No, what does he do now? He's a construction worker. He owned a business.
Really?
Yeah, and so he was more into the manual labor, and my mom's a lawyer. So they're very different.
Well, that's a good combination, I guess. So I guess you the way you were raised influenced you a lot, and I think is that part of the reason why you wanted to leave your country for a while? How did you get interested in Japan or other Asian countries? Maybe, probably, I guess Japan is just a total coincidence, or you had some specific reason why?
Well, I guess it started when I moved to Vancouver. So in Quebec, which is the east of Canada, there's not a lot of Asian people.
I think there are a lot of Asian people.
They're not in the east. In Quebec, there's well, I didn't grow up with a lot of Asian people around me, and the ones who were Asian were adopted, usually. But when I moved to Vancouver, there's so many people from China, Korea, Japan, and yeah, my brother really liked anime. He got me into it, and then from there I started liking Japanese history and culture and politics and literature.
Politics too?
Yeah, everything that I read about Japan I just loved, and any word in the newspaper that I could find about Japan I'd read. So, and then I went to Japanese school on the weekends.
Japanese school?
Language school on the weekends.
Okay.
On Saturday. and then go for 3 hours every Saturday.
That's actually really, really, you are really eager to learn about Japan or something. What is what did you find the most attractive thing about Japan?
About Japan?
Sorry, I really think this is a really funny country, so sometimes.
A funny country. I think that's why, because it's a funny country. It's weird. It's very different. I really liked the concept of mono no aware, which is like it's like when you look at sakura, cherry blossoms, and you think, well, it's so pretty, but it only will last a little moment.
Yeah.
And then it will go away. So you might as well appreciate it as it's there.
Okay.
And I really like that connection of Japanese culture and the nature. And everything that was Japanese seemed so like detailed and beautiful, like how do I explain? The kimonos are so intricate and beautiful, and Japanese design too. Not only traditional design, but even design now today.
You think so?
Yeah, they're very attentive to detail. And Japanese stationery. If you ever see people, like tourists come to Japan, they love to buy a little Japanese stationery because it's so small and refined in a way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you love these kind of details of craft works, Japanese. Okay, that's interesting. So maybe that's you are influenced by your father, don't you think?
Actually, yes. I did not think about it, but the houses he builds.
He built the house. He built your house, your own house.
He did. Every house we live in, he built, because he has a construction company. So he was a carpenter, then he made a construction company, and he had a friend who was an architect, and they made buildings together. So he would make the design, his friend, and then my dad would make the building. So, and their designs were very Japanese.
Really?
And I didn't really think of it until recently.
Why?
Because like they had 2 roofs, and they had, you know, the little things that Shinto shrines have, the how do you say, the pillars of wood that come out under the roof, and then it's painted on the side. Like I never thought of it as Asian until I learned about Japan and Japanese culture, because for me that was just my dad's house, you know.
I know.
Yeah. So unavoidably it kind of went into my sphere of influence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did you decide to come to Japan to study? You always have wanted to come to Japan?
I did. Well, since I was 14, so when I moved to Vancouver. And I always wanted to be in Japan somehow, some way. My dad wanted me to stay in Canada, of course. But my mom supported me, and
Really?
I tried to get into the Monbuka Gakusho scholarship, but I failed. It's because my Japanese wasn't that good.
Okay.
But then I kept looking for their programs, and finally I found one, and that's how I came to Sapporo. Yeah, I wanted to be here the longest I could, and so studying for 4 years was the option. It was, yeah.
So, sorry, but a little bit more specific about how you found about Hokudai. So your Hokudai has some specific program fits your idea.
Yeah, in some way. Like, so how I found it was like, I failed the Monbuka Gakusho thing. So the person who was my examiner, who was the chancellor of the consulate in Vancouver, he emailed me and said, "I'm sorry you didn't get in, but there's this and this and this, and this new program called Genpuro, which is like, what was it, Gendai Nihongaku program, which is called Modern Japanese Studies in English." And this program is very interesting because it combines, like, how do you say, bungaku, which is like
Japanese
literature, yeah, like soft social sciences with learning Japanese and staying a long time. So usually if you're like a ryugakusei, if you're coming here to study in Japan, the only 2 options usually is studying English for a long time or studying in a short period usually in English. And I thought I really didn't want to study in English. I wanted to learn Japanese. So this was perfect for me, this program.
Wow, I didn't know this university has a very good and special programs for people from outside Japan. So, and they support you financially too?
For the first year and a half they do. But then it's by merit based, so on your grades mostly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to get a good grade?
Yeah. It's always about merit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So far, how do you feel about being studying at the Crocodile?
It's hard to put. Yeah, it's hard to put into words because we are learning more Japanese day by day, and a lot of people think like, oh, it's impossible to go from knowing almost none to going into Japanese university and studying in Japanese. It is hard.
So sorry. What is your typical day like?
Typical day.
So right now you study a lot of Japanese.
So the first 2 years, you have Japanese classes, which are like 70% of the classes you take. Yeah. So basically you have 3 classes called one's called Rikkai, one called Hyogen, one called Yaritori. And so these are all different. These are 3 Japanese classes, but they're different. They're all like comprehension or talking skill, like or reading skills. So they try to build up these skills. And you have 2 years of that, and when you graduate, you get to go into the normal departments, normal gakugo. So now it's just a lot of Japanese, but on the side we learn things in English, like Japanese society or culture in English, or Japanese gender relations in English.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gender relation, really?
Yeah, it's hard. But also they have these other design classes specifically for just our program. So they call them Jisen Nihongo, which is like you do a subject in Japanese fully. So what I just did today was called Jijimondai, which is basically current affairs. And so we talk about like the shoshi koreka, the big issues in Japan at the moment, and we talk about it in Japanese. So the teacher speaks in Japanese, and we have to speak in Japanese too. So it's a way of like building our vocab in a specific subject.
That's great. Wow, I never actually knew about that kind of classes. That's a really good classes, I think. Yeah. So you said that it's connect Japanese literature with other elements like politics or what?
So it's 4 modules: society, political economy, culture, and history. And so when you can have a major and minor. So either it's society and politics, which is more like numbers and technical, and then or the history and culture, I believe, which is more of the social science.
So far you are enjoying. So far you have been enjoying the study. Do you see any problems?
Problems.
What is the biggest obstacle?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
No. That's what we're thinking right now. We're in the middle of the program, so a lot of us are thinking. I think the big question is, what do you do after? It's such a specific study that you can't really apply it in your own country unless it's related to Japan in some way. And even if you go into Japanese society and work, it's you'd have to work with something that has to do with building relations with other countries, or you can't just go into anything in Japan. So it's very specific study, so it's hard to apply in the real world sometimes.
Well, maybe to maximize your ability should be have something to do with maybe cultural exchange or maybe establishing a relationship between the two countries, studying things. But probably, but you find something more widely ranging, I think.
You could, yeah. I think you'd have to specialize in something after, in masters, if you really want a specific job. Otherwise, you're, I don't want to say stuck, but you might end up becoming an English teacher, like in Japan, or you might, I don't know.
That's kind of waste of
Yeah, so it feels like a waste of time.
your resources.
Like, I'm not saying these jobs are bad, but it's just like, in Japanese work culture seems so strict that a lot of people do not want to stay in Japan. So that even though they love Japan and they come here to study all this about Japan, a lot of people end up leaving because it's so strict.
Well, strict means we don't accept people from outside, you mean? No?
Not just that,
we
but
are
like,
not so generous.
no, like work times are long, pay is maybe okay, not a lot of vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's true. We I think that's a big problem for ourselves too. You know, that kind of lifestyle. Probably we should change. I think probably we need people who can look at us, look at Japanese from outside. Those viewpoints are very, very precious, I think. So, in the future, I really believe you have your own special areas, field. You can utilize your experience in Japan, I think. But you still think you like this country?
Yes.
Okay.
But the perception's more detailed now.
Oh, okay.
Now that I'm actually in Japan.
But what do you think about what is the negative aspects you find about us? You should have seen a lot of them too. Like, but what do you think is the problem?
Negative problem. Negative problems.
You may find some Japanese people, the way we do things, even the political issues.
I mean, there's a lot of what we learn in class are the social problems, right? So then I have this whole perception of Japan, right? Just because I study the problems, to you, like, and the problems aren't just specific to Japan; they're elsewhere. In terms of like. Decrease in population, or politics being run by older people, or gender inequality,
Oh.
So one thing I did not like as much was the gender side of Japan a little, because like I found it weird that in the ads for like job for part-time jobs, there was like some sections that were like specifically for women, or like catered to older women, or it's kind of like boxing women in this sort of bubble. Like I feel like a lot of cashiers here are older women, and that kind of says something about who gets what job and what function they have in their family as providers.
Oh.
Yeah, and even this is really small, but when I went to buy a refrigerator and a washing machine, in order to deliver to my place, I had to have a man, like in my, like either a friend help me or a roommate to help them deliver it, because you have to help the delivery man pick it up the stairs.
Oh.
And the thing is, my roommate, who's a man, is lighter than me and quite, like, I've been skating for a long time, so I have some muscles in me, right? And I'm not saying that like, I don't know, but it felt strange, because I was like, why can't I do it? Like, why is it that I have to have someone with me? Because my roommate couldn't be there on that day, but I could. So it's this whole thing, it's these little things that like get to you in some way that you're not used to. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we kind of have stereotypes, about the men and the women. And it's a role, we do play kind of things. And in Japan, most of the time, women can't expect, men to help them. And I don't know, it may be changing. And I just don't know about it. that's possibility-wise. So you think what we should do, how we should change? In your opinion, what is the biggest issue we should change?
Oh, biggest issue in Japan. It's so
big,
it's so
big
general.
question. Okay.
Well, I'm thinking like in terms of like depopulation. A lot of people are saying you should bring in more foreigners. A lot of people say Japan should just bring in more foreigners because of the depopulation.
So we should import people from us.
Yeah, like.
But you don't think.
I don't know if I agree or disagree, to be honest. I feel like even though there's a lot of older people, if you met, like, I'm not an economist or anything, because I have a hunch that if there were more taxes, it would, and a way of sort of I don't know, in some way, it doesn't matter if there's not more older people, but a lot more than there used to be. Because right now the tax is like 10%, or it's going to be 10%.
You mean general tax?
The consumer tax.
Consumer tax.
And in a lot of in Europe, in Nordic countries, they have like extremely high tax.
Yeah,
but it helps everybody.
Okay. Yeah, but you should remember we also pay income tax. And for example, in US, and they have consumer tax, only consumer tax, and don't tax a lot on your income or something like that.